So Qlik has finally done it. It's added a game changer to its SaaS platform in the form of Notes. Notes was talked about at Qlik World. It allows you to add your commentary alongside your dashboard. So let's take a look. Here you can see I've had some subscriptions already sent to me, some alerts to tell me that I've been invited to a note, and I can go ahead and open that up. If I look at some of the other emails that I've received here, you can see I've actually got some of the notes already summarized in that email. So again, let's go ahead and open that up, and we'll start looking at this notes, this new feature that's landed into Qlik SaaS Enterprise this week. So here you'll see, and if I just get out of this for now, you can see that in a space you'll now have this notes section, and these are the 3 notes that I've either created or have been shared and added to. So the note that we just saw there was this open notes. Now the interesting note, mind the pun, to talk about notes is that they're applied to a space, not to an app, which I thought is probably where they would have been placed. So you have your notes within a particular app, just like you would like a storyboard. Qlik have interestingly decided to make them specific to a space, so you can access them across any of your apps, which is really good and interesting. And let's get into that in a bit more detail shortly. So if I go ahead and open up one of these notes, like we saw a moment ago, you've got some advanced text formats. So here you can see you can add titles or bolded and formatted text. Later on you can see you can do bullet points and numbering as well, which is all really good. And the most interesting and exciting part about this, it's interactive, it's real time. So if you've got somebody else on that note and adding to that note at any one point in time, you'll actually see their cursor live as they're typing, which really makes it feel like you're interacting with somebody live in that moment, which is really good. And the only way I can really describe it, especially when you've got it open within the app, it's kind of like having your Slack, your instant messenger alongside your dashboard. Previously, when you're doing like storyboards, there's a little bit of a disconnect because you go to a separate screen, you go to a separate view, and you very much take your snapshots and then you effectively import them into your storyboard. I know it's all part of one app, but that kind of feels like the process, the workflow is you take it, you do your analysis, then you go to your presentation. With notes, it's a lot more synchronized, it's a lot more seamless is the way I describe it, which is really good. So here you can see that you can add snapshots. So you've got snapshots for your storyboards, you've now got snapshots for your notes. If we look at some of the information icons here, you can see what this is showing, the visualization, the app. You can open the app up, you can see the space, you can open that up, and you can also then see the dimensions and measures being used. And also at the bottom, if I go to some of these down here, I'd hope we can then see some of the selections. So here you can see it's actually a calculated dimension, but you can see that the selection that's been applied is that early criteria there. You could either go days to bill, days order to bill. You can then see we've got a selection on the calendar month there as well. At the bottom here, if we just look here, we can see the space it belongs to. We can also see who can view this. We can modify access, so we can see who's the owner, who can edit. And again, if I you can, sorry. So you can edit live in the space, like so. You've got your formatting up at the top here as well, so you can do underline. This is a bit more word-like, which is nice to see. The storyboards, I thought you didn't have like bullet point and list styles, which is a shame. So it's nice to see that they're adding these bits in. And of course, you can insert and tag people. You can see who's not in the space, so you can make sure that you're not opening yourself up to anything. And I believe if I try and add someone who's not in the space, so let's add Alex Admin. Oh, it does allow me to tag those. If I click done now, I'll just open that note back up. It's tagged them, but they don't have access still. I assume it's because I don't own the note. I can't add that person automatically myself, but we'll see. So if I go into the details of this note, here I can see the space it belongs to. What I find interesting, and I've only played with this a couple of times over the last couple of days, is there's no way to navigate straight to the app you created these in. The only way I can find that you can do that is actually by clicking and inserting a visualization of the app, which I almost find odd in some ways, but I guess it goes in the concept that they are space specific, not app specific. If we have a look at the app that I've created, so this one here, so again it's just a simple one. Here I can go ahead, I can modify the access this time, so I can say who can edit, who can view. By default it sets it to view, which again sometimes I find a bit weird. I'd expect when I tag someone they should be able to respond to that automatically, and maybe I'll limit it down afterwards, but I also see the way Qlik have implemented it in the sense that you give people more access as opposed to restricting it. So it does make sense, but it also doesn't feel necessarily natural. So let's go ahead and start creating some notes actually in an app. So if I go to a particular app here, we've got this demo app created. Let's just open this up. And what you'll see is on the left hand side here that, or if I go into a sheet at least, let's go to one with visualizations. You can see that we've got this note section, and this note section will now appear automatically within your SaaS enterprise. Now you can turn this off globally. So if you go to your management console, you can see that this can be turned off globally. So if I go down to my settings under configuration, you can see you can turn that off globally, but you can't turn it off per user or type of user or space for that matter. It's either all or nothing, which is fair enough, and I'm sure I might add more granular security later on down the line. Remember, in this, Qlik have a tendency to drop these big new functionalities, new capabilities, and then they refine it and improve on it as time goes on. They just try and get it out there to answer at least their most basic use cases that they're intended for, and then, like I say, further enhance them as time goes on. When you first go into it, I really like how Qlik have started doing this. I've seen this on a few of the new capabilities. You have these little windows pop up with what I expect is GIFs there and some instructions on how to do it. I'm just going to close that down. And here we can see the ones that are owned by others within this particular space, remember, but then also the ones that we've got here. So if I go ahead and create a new note, by default this is for me and only for me, no one else can access this. I can give this a name, so I'm going to call this my new note, and we can go ahead and start adding some text. If we want to include visualizations, we can just right click on any of these charts here, and we can just add the snapshot to note. So remember, you've got the storyboard snapshots. These are specific to notes. So we'll go ahead and click on that button. Here you'll see it just loads it and it just embeds it. From my initial play around with this, it is a snapshot. So that's a point in time representation, just like a snapshot is in a storyboard or the storytelling, I should say. So don't expect these visualizations to update automatically. They are, as you expect, to be static. And then again, you've got the ability automatically to link to source. You've got the information around there. If I go ahead and make some selections, so here you kind of saw the ones that I made previously. I could go ahead and add that to my notes. And if I go into the information, you can see those selections added there as well. So you've got the full context, even if you've not got the app open. And this is really what this is designed to do, is to add context to your data, to understand it, to take actions away. And that's why I think it's a game changer. That's pretty much what was not necessarily lacking, but not streamlined. You did your analysis, you could create your presentations and your storyboards and present that back to the business, but you need something a bit more informal, a bit more day-to-day, where you can just collaborate, talk whilst you're either on the go, whilst you're up late at night, just having a look at your data or whatever you do. You just need ability to just tag people, add those actions, and then close it down and carry on with your day job. If we go into here, you can tag people either by using the icon up at the top there, or you can simply just type in the text, very similar to other collaboration tools out there like your Jira's, your Slack, and so on. And let me think what else is worth showing you. So here we've got the ability to expand. So let's say you've got a particularly long bit of text that you're writing, some paragraphs. You can slot that and take up at least half the space, which is really nice to see. Again, you don't want to be crammed to a very small window pane, especially when you're having deep conversations with people through this. So let's touch on some more of the use cases. So as I've mentioned before, you've got the main use case, which is to kind of drive action, to have the ability to add your commentary alongside your dashboards in one single view. As you're doing your analysis, you can be writing your notes either to yourself or to your peers and truly collaborate that way. And it's a bit more informal, a bit more instant, and something that you do on a day-to-day basis, as opposed to do some analysis, write or create a storyboard, and then present it back to the business on a weekly or monthly basis. This is more day-to-day, working with your peers and truly interactive, especially during times where it's the pandemic and everyone's forced to work remotely. This is going to be that big game changer where you've got your instant chat in the same tool as your data and doing your data analysis. You can really be sharing your filters, selection states, and really do that kind of group analysis that you might have done in the office in a meeting, where you don't always need to have a Zoom or a Teams meeting set up. Sometimes you just want to be doing it at your own pace, but having that conversation as and when something interesting pops up. And it doesn't always need to be, like I say, on a call where you've got to action things immediately. It's just, when you've got a moment, please take a look at this and tell me why this kind of this number's increased or this number's decreased, and so on. Other use cases when we've been talking to our customers is to use it as like a how-to guide or a set of instructions, or even like a contents page for an app. So you can do links to other sheets just by using the insert link feature. So you can just copy the URL from your whatever sheet you're on, and then link that in here. So you can add a bit of a description. You've got it side by side the dashboard. You can embed visualizations, explain what the visualization is showing, and also why you've included it. And it's a bit more interactive and puts the information, the instruction alongside the dashboard, so it makes it easy to kind of follow. So as opposed to doing storyboards or using external source, this is going to be a really great way to be able to share information. Unfortunately, what I've not been able to get at the moment, and what I did look at previously off screen, is the ability to give access to groups of people, which you can't do yet, unfortunately, or at least it doesn't look like you can do yet. So when I've looked at this, you can only actually give it to named people, named users, as opposed to using AD groups or whatever your IDP is. So that'll be a really good feature, because a lot of people do govern spaces using groups, so it'd be nice to be able to give access to your notes in the same way. And overall, this is new. It's in its infancy. It's growing. It's going to grow, and it's going to be exciting. Like I say, I do see this as a game changer. We're going to use this. I can see myself using this a lot internally when we're doing our management meetings or looking at numbers on a day-to-day basis. And I expect a lot of our customers to as well. So that's a quick introduction into notes, and I'll show you more next time.